There we go. Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having brilliant, fantastic, amazing days as always. Welcome back to another FXLondon YouTube channel video. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm answering, as always, another commonly asked question from inside the Discord community group chat, which is today, EAs or manual trading? What is better? What is my personal opinion on this? Do I like manual trading? Do I like expert advisors? Do I like indicators as well? It kind of links under the same sort of bracket of things. As always, I've got my notepad up here on the right-hand side. I've got all my bullet points, listed out, the pros and cons of EAs, the pros and cons of manual trading. And let's brainstorm this. Let's elaborate on this, topic of discussion. So a little bit of background information. As of the moment, FXLondon has got 4 expert advisors. We've got a scalping EA. Okay, we've got an intraday trading EA. We've got an moving average intraday trading EA. And we've also got swing trading EA. So 4 EAs that are in the mix that constantly being optimized, constantly being improved, and it's predominantly what I'm using for my funded accounts at the moment as well, which I'll dive into. So let's do it. So EA trading. Okay, one of the perks is of course with EAs. Okay, expert advisors. What are EAs? I'll quickly go over this first. EAs are basically programs, okay, that can be coded with inputs of specific, settings that can be taking trades automatically via MT4, via MT5, via CTrader. Basically, you can plug and play and plug and put in your strategy into an expert advisor. You can, host it on, a private server. Okay, you can choose the region of your private server. It could be out in the Netherlands. It could be in Europe. It can be in any part of Asia as well, or America. It can host your EA. Okay, and it can be running 24/7. Close at market close, open at market open. Okay, you can be taking trades on your behalf. Okay, so super powerful. So the first pro, of course, is that EAs run without you actively doing anything. Okay, without you actively trading. And the second thing is you don't need to be spending any time doing analysis. Okay, you don't need to be looking at charts. Okay, because if you've got your program already built in, it's going to be running like that for you. Third thing, of course, is that as a result of that, you can spend more time doing the things you love, the things you actually want to do. If you've got expert advisors running for you, making money, printing money via these, accounts, and you could be out kicking a football, doing whatever you want to do, whatever you like to do within the day, whether it's a run, whether it's a meal, whether it's spending time with your family, with your dogs, your other animals. Ultimately, you can be spending time doing things you love. Okay, which is a huge pro. Huge bonus is, of course, us as traders, we like trading, okay, but we don't want to be spending, hours and hours and hours glued to the screen, stuck to doing analysis every single second of the day. You want to have a break. It's healthy to have a break. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is that you can actually understand the risk you're taking through backtesting really, really efficiently. In fact, there's backtesting tools and strategies on MT4 and MT5 that I use personally, where you can, drag and drop your EA into it, add your inputs, and ultimately you can backtest and optimize settings as well for your expert advisor to see with backtested market conditions, ultimately what you would have seen in terms of performance, which means you can massively de-risk the exposure that you have within the market. Okay, and vice versa, you can go very, very aggressively using your expert advisors. But it ultimately means, for instance, in my personal situation, that on my funded accounts, I can massively de-risk, place trades, making small amounts of profit every single day without too much risk, without too much exposure. Okay, so that's the fourth thing. The fifth thing, okay, is that expert advisors actually take less time to start. Okay, so if you're a trader, let's say you've never been trading before. Okay, you've come from a job, you're intrigued about trading, perhaps this is your first video that you're watching. Unlikely it is, but if it is, and this is the first one that you're watching in terms of trading, then you can buy an expert advisor or have one made, drag it on your chart without much knowledge at all. You can get going straight away, which is the beauty of expert advisors, is that they trade on your behalf. Okay, whereas if you're manually trading, of course you can place trades manually as well, but you're probably going to see less success manually trading initially than you would with an expert advisor that's been perhaps tested by someone else, perhaps one of the FXLondon EAs. We've got a few set files for it. If you dragged and dropped a set file that we've been testing throughout the last 12 to 18 months, then it's probably going to be more successful than you would originally be manually trading. So yeah, that's the next point. The next point after that is that EAs are actually, of course, less of an emotional burden. Okay, what I mean by that is that once you drag and drop an EA, an expert advisor, onto your chart, you've backtested it, you know roughly what you're expecting in terms of results. Of course, nothing can be guaranteed, but you roughly know what you're expecting to achieve. It's very, very different compared to manually trading. Every single trade you're judged upon, whereas an expert advisor, you've seen track records, you're expecting the same sort of results, and so it's actually a little bit more of less of an emotional burden and less stress on your mind, because you roughly know what you're getting into. However, okay, now these are the slight negatives of expert advisors, is that expert advisors do require lots of testing, patience, and adaptation of your files, your inputs, and your settings. Okay, it's common disbelief, that you can drag and drop an expert advisor with plug and play, set files. You can go straight away and you can make big loads of money. Okay. And it doesn't work like that. Expert advisors, whilst it means you can get into the market a lot faster, you can probably be a little bit more profitable than you would be manually trading initially. You still need to be testing it, have patience, and adapt it depending on market conditions, because of course the market is different every single day. Okay, some days you're going to have bigger moves, some days you're going to have bigger trends, some days you're going to be ranging, and you need to be able to adapt to that, because otherwise if you just let your EA go, it's most likely going to mess up. So that's one of the negatives with EAs. Okay, and of course the main negative, moving on to the next one, is that it actually doesn't improve you as a trader. Okay, if you've never done manual trading before and you've just relied on an expert advisor, you are not going to be becoming better as a trader. Now it depends, of course, what your goal is. Most people getting into the space just want to become more profitable. They want to make more money, and so they go chasing the thing that's going to make them more money. However, my personal opinion is of this: if you of course, which is my concluding argument, if you can have a combined approach where you actually become better as a trader, and you can utilize a few EAs and combine them together, you're going to become more knowledgeable in the space, and at the same time more profitable. Okay, and give yourself more time to do other things that you love. So that for me is the perfect combination, because without one of those, without understanding how the market actually works, and if you jump straight into it and don't learn how to trade and you don't learn the basics, you are just going to get burnt ultimately. Okay, and at the same time, you can't really improve and adapt and optimize your EA as much as you would be able to if you knew the market. Okay, you actually knew how to read the market yourself, okay, as a manual trader. So moving on to the next point, prop firms and brokerages. Okay, a lot of prop firms and brokerages don't actually allow EAs. Okay, which limits your choice, limits your pool of being able to trade freely as much as you want to be. There's many brokerages, of course, that ban EAs. There's many prop firms that don't allow EAs on their platforms, and so you never find it being the other way around, that people ban manually trading. It's only that people tend to ban EAs. So something to consider. Okay, it's not a game changer, but a lot of brokerages, a lot of prop firms do ban EAs. Now, moving on to manually trading. Okay, manually trading, of course, most of these are going to be counterpoints, but manually trading means that you don't rely on an EA, okay, which is huge. If you don't have to rely on someone, you don't have to rely on, an expert advisor, you don't have to rely on signals, you don't have to rely on someone else's analysis, it's of course going to be better. It's of course going to give you more growth. It's of course going to improve your skills. It's of course going to make you, more profitable in the long term if you're, focusing on actually developing who you are as a trader yourself, rather than, just relying on the next new, flashy EA that comes to market. Ultimately, manually trading means that you can adapt to market conditions as well, very, very well. Of course, if you see the market conditions change, okay, you can make that judgment and you can act there and then. But sometimes, of course, this is one of the negatives with manually trading, is that you can sometimes have an emotional bias. Okay, it can sometimes not be good to be actually trading. On your own, accord, because unless you've got really, really strong emotions in play and psychology, which is something that I talk about massively in this channel, then EAs can be, suited to you, because the EA just runs. It runs regardless. Whereas you emotionally might be reluctant to place a trade. You might be, hesitant to place as an aggressive lot sizing. You might be, over risking, becoming greedy, becoming, like you're like a full-time gambler. So ultimately, again, this comes with experience. But if you can control your emotions, then of course that's perfect. But a lot of people can't. That's why EAs can be better suited to people. As I mentioned here, understanding your emotions is actually a huge part of the learning curve. And it actually helps you learn discipline. One of the best things that I've learned from trading is the aspect of discipline that it gives me. And this isn't just taken in trading. This is taken into other parts of life as well. Learning the art of discipline is very, very good and healthy for many different other aspects of life. So huge point in terms of manually trading, I think, is that you actually build up your emotional psychology. You actually build up the understanding of discipline. You actually build up yourself as a character, and your journey is very different to just jumping on some EAs and hoping that they make you profit. Again, next point, I've already kind of touched on this before, is that you don't actually learn much about the market. It's fairly obvious if you're just using EAs, you don't actually learn much of the market. Whereas if you're manually trading, you're going to understand the market, you're going to understand news, you're going to understand fundamentals, you're going to understand market structure, price action, a lot, smart money concepts as well, and you're actually going to get into the space of actually trading, which then means when you are utilizing an EA, you're going to understand things even further and even more in depth. So ultimately, those are the points. But in conclusion, what I've come to is a combined approach is the smartest, and that's currently what I'm adopting as of the moment. Is that I am manually trading, pretty much every single day, but I'm utilizing some EAs to free up a little bit of time within my day to help me maximize some profit. Okay, to help me, clear my headspace sometimes as well. If I don't want to trade on a certain day, I'm still making money, via the EAs. So, ultimately what I've said here is, when you know how to manually trade, you can read price action, you can read market structure, you can do your own manual analysis, okay? But with EAs, you don't have to rely on that, okay? And for the practicality of it, and then you can adapt and work on your EAs to become more successful because you actually know how the market works, okay? And you can improve your EAs, every single, part of the journey, you actually become better as a manual trader. So hopefully, that has helped establish this commonly asked question inside the Discord community group chat. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting one. EAs are brilliant, and they're going to be, taking over the future, I'm sure, in terms of, getting more profitable. More people are using them. More people adapting to, perfecting and understanding EAs rather than just manually trading. Trading eventually will one day become fully automated, I'm sure. But as always, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, feel free to subscribe, like, as always, let me know your comments down below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. As always, all of the links, as mentioned, are down below. Telegram, Discord, Instagram, Facebook, the lot. All of them are down below. My contact details as well. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask me any questions at any point in time. I'm always happy to, give out free bits of information and knowledge. But yeah, otherwise, see you in the next video. Have an amazing day and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.